Hello, and welcome to Tim's Antique Trains. Today, we're going to unwrap 3 packages that I found at a local antique store. They contain some American Flyer cars. Let's get started. Alright, let's open this first package. It is very well wrapped, and inside that we have more tissue paper. Alright, so there's a block of wood, and then the car itself. So this block of wood is definitely not original to the car. Yeah, so there's a mechanism on top that slides the boards off. Overall, it's in relatively good shape. No major scratches, most of the paint is intact. No rust, very little rust if any. Alright, we'll look at this in more detail on the train layout. Let's move on to the next package. Okay, here we go. Let's unwrap package number 2. This is the larger one. Alright, this is the industrial brown hoist. American Flyer number 944, operating hoist car. This was also in relatively good shape. It was only missing one pair of wheels, which is really impressive. It's pretty clean. There's very little rust on it to speak of. All 3 of the hooks are intact and on it. The original strings are still in place, although one is detached. That can be reattached. The 2 operating wheels are intact. I'm not sure if they're supposed to have little handles on them or not. There's a little bit of paint missing on the top. But in overall, it's in relatively good shape. We'll take a closer look at this again when we get it down to the train table. And now, for the main event, we'll move on to package number 3. Let's open it up. Alrighty, inside we have the American Flyer number 250042 Erie operating boxcar. This is the Tuscan brown painted version, and it was only made in 1958. So that makes it a little bit rare, although it's not too rare because apparently I found one. It's in really good condition. It has the handbrake still intact. This side of the car only has 1 door. This side of the car has 2 doors because this is the operating side. So we'll look at this in more detail on the train table. But you open the door on the left and insert the objects to be loaded or unloaded at the top of the little ramp. And then the door on the right opens automatically and the objects are pushed out by the little man inside. Alright, enough of me talking. Let's take these down to the train table and see what they can do. Alright, by turning the back wheel, we lower and raise the boom. So I'll turn it to raise the boom up so that it's not resting on the car behind. And the front wheel raises and lowers the pulley, or the hook. It's a little stiff. It will need some oil to operate smoothly, but it does operate and it's all there. Alright, raise this back up so we can move along and run the train. Alright, let's take a look at what these automated cars actually do. This is the Southern Pacific number 971, and unfortunately I don't have the original load. What came with it from the store was this block of wood, but it doesn't quite fit, and so it doesn't move off the machine like it's supposed to. Maybe it fits like that. That does not look quite correct. Let's see if it will move the load with the block of wood in there. So I don't have the track trip or the control button to make it operate, but what I do have is a jumper pin that'll activate it by touching it to the pin on the truck. Let's see if it moves the load. So it doesn't move that part of it, but we'll take a look and see without the load on what it does. It is supposed to move the load off the car. Alright, so now I have it hooked up to the track terminal, which is DC, which is not normal for American Flyer trains, but I'll explain that a little bit. So I have it on the DC terminal, and I can touch it to the same thing. The car runs much more smoothly and quieter. There's no buzzing in the solenoid because the solenoid is only receiving direct current, not alternating current. So it sends a straight signal to it. Whereas if on the accessory terminal, it sends alternating current to the car. Now, let's move along and take a look at the operating boxcar. Alright, here we are looking at the Erie 25042 operating boxcar. So the way you operate this car is you slide this door open and load objects, say little cubes of packages or milk containers or what have you, in this side. They would slide down the little ramp that's inside. Then, and again, the correct way to do this would be to use a control button like this one, and that would activate the little operating mechanisms inside. So there's a little man inside that pushes out the packages when you push the button, and we'll see that here. I got it stuck in the open position, but you can see that the little mechanism pushes packages out through the door. So that is how the operating boxcar works.